Good morning, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to Fun Friday. All right, so today, as promised, I thought we would explore the new BetterPress 4-pack ink. This is the Macaroon set. I think that's what it's called, anyways. And it is by Frank Garcia. So Frank Garcia sometimes. Well, as you know, Frank Garcia, maybe you don't know, Frank Garcia designed for Prima, and he has his own collection coming in from Spellbinders with some dies and such, better press plates that matches his latest line from Prima Marketing. And this is the BetterPress ink set that he has developed, and I am absolutely in love with it, all right, because of the soft pastel colors of it. But I really wanted to kind of showcase and talk about these inks because I just want you to make you aware, all right, because they're such pastel inks. They're going to come off a little differently when you better press with them, all right? So I thought we would do a little exploration of them this morning and do some fun little samples with them. So hello, everyone showing up live and then watching on the replay. Thanks for joining us on Fun Friday. All right, so I'm going to try to do this as a quick little video as we explore these inks. I don't want to take up too much time on this Friday morning, but these are pretty awesome. They really are. All right, so let's just talk about the little 4-pack here. They do come in a 4-pack. You can't buy them individually, and they're very pastel. All right, so we have Rose, which is a very light pink. Now, I was playing around and better pressing the other day with these. So I know I'm going to be pressing with you, but I do really want to show you these ones pressed already, all right? So this here is pressed on, this is the bisque better press, but you can see how light, but it is very true to the label color, all right? So there is that one, that is Rose. And then we have Pistache, all right, which is that very light mint green. And this one is gorgeous. I have fallen in love with all of these colors. So we have that one. Again, very true to what is on the label. Then we have Vanilla, all right, or Vanille. And then again, very true to the label. As you can see, very soft, very soft. I'm loving these. And then I don't know how to pronounce this. CL? I don't know, but this is a light blue. And again, very soft. All right. Very true to the label. All right. So let's go ahead and press with these ones and let's talk about these inks because they do go on a little bit differently because they are so light. All right. So I'm going to be working with now I will post this. This is called, and I was going to use this one, but then I remembered I had the seashell one, which I thought would work really well. This one here, I should give you the name of this one. It is a beautiful set from LDRS, a press plate, and it's called Apple Blossom Swag. And yes, we do have it in stock. It is a press plate with dies, and then you can also get the stencil for coloring. It's beautiful. It's dainty. It's got that kind of hand sketch look, and just really pretty. I think these would, warrant a great addition to a wedding card, a sympathy card. So if you're interested in that set, you can check it out on the website. All right. But that is from LDRS. It's called Apple Blossom Swag. All right. Those are what I just used for my sample. But for today, we're going to be using the seashell press plate from Hero Arts. I keep on having this in a little pile in my stash to demo with because it's such a great set. And then these inks came out, and I thought this is the perfect plate to use with these inks. All right. So this one here, I got to give you the name of it because I just have the code. But this one here is called the Scattered Shells letterpress and plate press plate from Hero Arts. Sorry, I don't have the original packaging. I have a prototype here from Hero Arts. This came out last year. All right, so this is not a new plate, but we do have this one in stock, and it is just a beautiful seashell background. All right, so perfect for making those kind of summertime cards, for birthdays, thinking of you, and it's just going to work really great with these inks. All right, so we're going to be using that, and I'm going to be using that to press with. And then I'm not sure if I will actually get into, doing cards on line here, but I will do it after the fact. And I'm going to be using the coordinating die set from Hero Arts, and this one is called Sophisticated Shells. All right, and this is a die set. Again, we have this one in stock. It came out with this one. I'm going to show you how this kind of all looks, but I'm going to kind of demo with the new inks. But here is kind of what they look like when they are all said and done. All right, so here's a sample using this. The backside was pressed with a blue ink, a kind of bluey teal ink, and those are the wonderful seashell dies. Aren't they awesome? So it's a really great card there. So we have that one. This one here, I'm going to show you this one. This one I've used the press plate to, and I foiled it. All right, so we've got, it's almost like a rose gold foil on the back. It's kind of like a tone on tone on that coral, and then the seashell. So really effective press plate and matching dies. Here's just a few more samples of me foiling with it. We have the gold on there. Look how beautiful that is. And then this is that opal on white that's foiled on there as well. So just to give you some different ways of using this die and press plate. But today, we're going to use it with the new inks. All right, so let's talk about these new inks as I get set up. Now, because these are really pastel inks, and they're very light in nature. All right, so when you go ahead and ink them, it appears that they're really dry, and they're not. It's just because they are light colored. All right, they're going to go on light. They're going to press light because they're a light color. We get this a lot with any ink that is a very light pastel color. The number one complaint is that, oh, these ink pads are super dry. No, they're not. It's a very soft color. And people just get really confused with that. So I really wanted to kind of identify that these are going to go on soft. They're going to look like they're dry, but they're really, really not. So sorry, I just needed to get a new sheet on here, sticky grid sheet on here, because mine was getting quite full of dust and paper fibers and such, so it was no longer sticking. So and I put this on the wrong side. It's supposed to be on the lid. See, I can't talk. And all right, so I like, for those that are just tuning in and haven't seen me do this before, I like using sticky grid on my plate when I use the BetterPress. All right, so because then I don't have to worry about taping anything. I don't have to worry about the tape mark or tape pieces getting in the way, especially when we're using a background like this. So I use sticky grid. All right, it's just a really great and way of holding your paper down in a great way. All right, so so you can get, these were the little sheets. I just had a little pack of these ones. These were the sidekick cutting sheets, all right, for the sticky grid. But you can also get them in the bigger sizes and just cut them down. You just need a little piece. This is probably way too big for what I need. You could probably go half of this. That will hold your paper in place, and just it makes it just so much easier than dealing with tape. All right, so I'm going to be using porcelain BetterPress paper. Because it's a nice white, and it's going to show off those colors really nicely. So I'm going to do full sheets here, and I'm going to do the full background, and I'm going to press each of these ones, and I'm going to show you what I mean about how when you try to ink this, it looks like it's not even showing up. All right, I'm going to do all 4 colors, and then I will create something with these backgrounds off camera, and then we'll post them. All right, so all right, so we've got our paper on there, and I'm just going to give my background here just a quick clean, because I do see some residues of that blue ink, and that usually tells me I did not clean off my press plate, which is typical of me. So I'm just going to I use rubbing alcohol. That is what I use. You can use that in some of the cleaners. Sometimes when you have an ink, it will just permanently stain the um, the metal, and that's okay. It's not going to transfer over, at least it shouldn't. So sorry, I know I'm shaking the camera and I'm going to make you all dizzy, but all right, so it looks like that ink did not come off, so that's okay. So I know it's clean now. All right, so I'm going to take my press plate and I'm just going to center it amongst the A2 guidelines here. Again, the magnetic base is going to hold it in place, and it looks, shimmy it over just a tad bit. All right, so there is that, that's in place. All right, so let's go ahead and ink it. I am going to start with the blue. All right, and let's go ahead and ink this. All right, now, because there's a blue tinge on there, it may look like I'm getting some ink on there. But no, see, honestly, I wish the camera can pick this up. I don't know if you can see this. All right. So I'm doing that whole kind of push and twist motion like we always encourage you to do with your BetterPress inks. And it looks like nothing is going on. And this is why people always say my ink pad is dry. But if I actually, I'm just gonna grab a piece of cardstock here. Um, all right, even when I do that, it's going to appear dry, but it's such a light color. This pad is a saturated pad, all right? It is not dry. It's just such a light color. And to actually really see that color, you're going to have to really build it up, but it is a pastel color. So don't think that these are dry. They're not, all right? They are meant to go on light because they are a light color. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this, being mindful kind of where I'm going and where I've inked, because you can hardly see this ink on that plate. All right. So as you can see, I'm going kind of up and down, overlapping slightly. And then my number one rule is, if you have to ask yourself, do I have enough ink on there? Then go over it again. All right. So now I'm going to go over horizontally in that same kind of push and turn motion. And I should be good now. All right, so I went both ways. All right, let's go ahead and press this now. All right, so I just have my machine, my die cut machine, just to the right of me here. It's not on camera, but you'll see me turning it. All right, so let's take a look at how beautiful this is. All right, so you can see that pressed beautifully. We have full coverage. It is a very light blue. All right, just absolutely stunning. All right, so you can see it's there. I inked it. It looked like there was no ink on there, and you can see that ink pad is not dry. Lovely. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. All right, so let's take that off. And now I'm going to let's do the green next. I cannot wait to do samples with this. I will tell you as well is that Spellbinders paper, cardstock, the colors that match this is really, really pretty. So ooh, let me just get my swatch out. So the blue from the cardstock line, Windy is going to go really nice with that color. All right, you can kind of see that it's very, very similar. All right, so you can see that it's going to go really, really nicely with that. But I also found that, I thought there was another one, maybe not. I'm wondering though, I think this one might be a little too dark. You might be able to get away with it. Breeze would be nice as well. I think Windy is the winner though. This one's almost a little too dark. All right, so the Spellbinders has paper that matches this beautifully, so Windy would match the light blue color for this one. Okay, let's go ahead and get our next one done. All right, so I'm going to get my paper. Again, I'm using porcelain, and this is BetterPress paper. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to give this a quick wipe, even though I know I probably do not, but need to do that, but I'm going to anyways. All right, and let's do that lovely pistache. All right. Again, when I'm doing this, it's gonna, oh, I can see a little bit of that green tinge on this one. All right, so again, I'm gonna do that kind of press and twist motion. I'm gonna go in up and down motions to put that ink on. And then I'm going to go across now, just making sure I hit all those little seashells, and then I get full coverage. Oops. Oh, this color is just beautiful. They're all beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and press this one. All right, the moment of the reveal. Oops, I got a little. Look how beautiful that is. So soft. I had a little thread of the ink there and I got a little ink mark. That's okay. I will cover that up, but very soft. All right. As you can see, as I pull that down, you can see that it's not so bold. It's very pastel. It's just gorgeous. All right. So this one here, the papers that will match, I have two that I thought. Mint was one of them. All right, so mint would go lovely with this color, pistache. You can see it's very similar to that color, but you could get away with seaside as well with this one. This one's got a little bit more blue tone. Mint would be the kind of the better match, but an alternative would be seaside to go with it. All right, so just so you know. All right, that turned out lovely. Loving that. All right, let's go ahead and do the rose next. I'm loving, loving, loving these colors. So the cardstocks that I'm showing you, the reason I have them pulled out is obviously I'm going to make seashells with those from the die set that I showed at the beginning. So I have those papers kind of pulled out. So that's why I'm showing you the match as well, just so that you are in the know. All right, just going to give this a little wipe down. All right, and let's go with the rose. This one, when I first did it, I was like, oh my gosh, like you don't see this color. This is how light it is. So when this goes on the plate, you can't even really tell there's any ink on there. So again, I'm going to do the same kind of thing, up and down, and then back and forth, just to make sure I got perfect coverage. All right, I'm going to bring this up to the camera because honestly, you can't even see that there's any ink on there. All right, but there is. All right, so these are not dry. All right. And let's run that through. And the moment of reveal. Oh, gorgeous. All right, look at that. All right, so even though we couldn't see the ink on the press plate, it was there. All right, so pretty. All right, this one here, again, the rose, you have two options. One is, gotta make sure chiffon is beautiful with this, and I think that is kind of like the #1 match. But if you wanted more of that pinky tone, you could go with blush. All right, so but chiffon is the winner in my opinion. Nice and soft. All right, so that's the rose. Oh my god, this collection is just gorgeous. I just think all the BetterPress inks that are out there right now, they're all so saturated in color. They're all like kind of bold and bright. And we were missing that kind of light pastel combination of colors. And I'm so happy that Frank developed these ones. So thank you, Frank. All right, so let me just give this quick wipe down. And now vanilla. Vanilla is such a gorgeous color. It's that like lovely kind of creamy ivory, just pastel. So we're gonna do the same thing. Get my paper ready here. All right, and let's go. Again, this one looks like it's not even going on. And back and forth. All right. And let's go ahead and press this one. And here we go. Look at that vanilla color. Gorgeous. All right. Again, the closer I bring it up to the camera, I mean, it appears darker, but when I bring that down, it's just a beautiful pastel vanilla color. And it's gorgeous. And for this one here, definitely is going to be this here, which is, I want to call it ivory, but I want to make sure. No, it's alabaster. All right. So that's going to go nicely. I mean, if you wanted to go a little bit deeper, I don't know, acorn, maybe fawn. All right, fawn might be, there's a big drastic jump up from colors, but either or you could do a layering with those two colors. But then alabaster is going to be the winner for this one that matches. All right, so let me just bring all these pressed ones back so you can kind of see how lovely they are. All right, so very, very light. All right, I'm going to bring this up to the camera. So we have the blue, the green, the rose, and the vanilla. Very pastel, gorgeous with that seashell, but they are lovely inks and a nice addition to the BetterPress ink family. Nice pastels, and again, they go on super light. It looks like they're not there, but they are. So they are not dry by any means. You just have to work with them. All right, so another thing you can do with these inks is, and a lot of people don't know that, and I tend to do it a lot, is that you can blend with them as well. All right, so let me just go grab a clean blending brush. Do I have a clean blending brush? All right, so it is recommended. I know I always say use, the same color family and such, but because these are so light, you're going to want to have a clean brush or a dedicated brush for these ones because they are so light. So let me just grab the rose. You can do a little bit of blending on here. So I will kind of use these for shading as well. And you can blend with them. And again, it's going to be such a light blend. But now you can kind of do a tone on tone. All right, so you really have to work these ones if you really want that darker color because it's so light. But if you just want to tint your paper, you can blend with these ones very nicely and it will just give a light tint. All right, so so there is the rose. I'm going to do one more color. I'm just going to clean this brush and try to get the excess ink off. And let's do pistache because I love this color. All right. And again, when you blend with them, they're just going to be a light tinting. All right. You are not going to get like massive coverage with it because it's so light color. All right. You can see how nicely that is. And again, very, very light, but the ink pads are not dry. They are there. They are saturated. It's just a very, very light color. All right. So that is just a little info session on these ones because I know we always get people asking, about these light colored ink pads, and I think they're dry, and they're not, they're just really light colors, everyone. So they do, go on light colors go on light. So all right, so I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to make some samples with these ones using these background panels, and I'm going to combine it with the seashells here and some of the cardstock that I showed you that matches, and then I'll post them later on today when they're all complete, and show you just how having a light colored background is really, really effective with a better press design. All right, so that's it for me today, everyone. So those are the new Macaron ink pads from Better Press from the Frank Garcia line. Loving them, and hopefully you love them too. All right, everyone, have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll post my samples really soon on these backgrounds. Take care.